Hello, welcome to Breeding Winners. I'm Andy Schnell, creator of this handicapping product and celebrating 30 years since I began this back in 1995. And with the Belmont Stakes in 2025, I'll be celebrating 50 years as a horse player. So, time had come as I get up in years to make my handicapping product available to all horse players. And it's truly been a passion of mine. And I really, truly be honored to share it with all horse players. Um, Back in 1995, I challenged myself to improve at picking winners at the races because I was a terrible handicapper. And I did a lot of studying, talking to people, and it all boiled down to I thought I needed to know more about the horse. And I posed a question: do horses with similar breeding win races under similar conditions? And I think the Tomlinson mud figures helped push me in this direction. I was a customer of Tomlinson's back in the '90s, and was fortunate enough to meet Art Kaufman, the creator of the Tomlinson mud figures, at a handicapping contest in New Haven, Connecticut. Wonderful man, and sadly he passed away not too many years after I met him. Um, a little later on in my career, I made good friends with Dave Krupe, the original manager at Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut, and he was the one to promote my product. I personally never promoted breeding winners. Um, as I said, it's truly a passion of mine that, and it certainly back in those days took up a considerable amount of time. But family always came first, and my full time job came second, and breeding winners took up just about all the other remaining time, and it really left no time for watching races and wagering on races. As crazy as that sounds, but that's the reality of the situation. It's like, do I do data entry or do I watch races and bet on them? Because the early years, all the data came out of the Daily Racing Form Charts weekly paper, which had results from about a dozen tracks across the country, and I entered all the data by hand, and it was only for winning performances. Um, because I think there's much more to be learned from a winning performance than from a losing one. In fact, I think the proper logic is um, to ask the question: how many ways are there for a horse to lose a race? And of course, the only reasonable answer is that there are infinite ways that a horse could lose a race. And therefore, there's really nothing to be learned from a losing performance. So it doesn't really even make sense to have a winning percentage, the number of winners over total number of starters, because the denomination of the denominator of that fraction is meaningless. Uh, so uh, my approach was to gather information only on winning performances and then ask the question: what percentage of winning performances came under today's conditions, such as today's distance, dirt or turf, purse level, and so on. And so that's really the whole idea behind breeding winners, is that I've put together the summary of winning performances by sire and broodmare sire and also trainer in a very easy to read report. It's a wonderful handicapping tool. Um, it doesn't stand, by itself. It's like any other handicapping tool. It's just part of the puzzle in figuring out who's most likely going to win a given race. So um, even today, once the data became available online, and download all the race information from the charts electronically. And I've always used Brisnet to do that. And I've always used Twin Spires as my wagering platform. And they have a wonderful thing that if you purchase, quote unquote, purchase the past performances uh, from Twin Spires, as long as you make a wager on that track, then they'll waive the $3.25 fee for the past performances. So there's no reason to spend money on past performances. Um, and of course, that's always needed for handicapping. But my handicapping has always been a combination of the past performances, which everybody has, plus my unique sire stats, broodmare sire stats, and trainer stats, which only I have in the format that I have them. Um, and in the electronic download, there's still one piece of information which is not available. And so I still do look at every result chart for every race in North America, uh, and to get that one piece of information to add to my database. So there's still time involved in data entry for me. But thankfully, now that I'm retired from my day job, uh, I can spend some time watching and wagering on races. Uh, there are two distinct parts to this game, and the first is the handicapping and determining who's most likely a true contender in a race, and the other part is the wagering part. And since I spend so much time working on the handicapping side of things, as I said before, especially back in my working days and raising a family, I didn't have time to watch and wager on races. That was a rare treat when that actually got to happen. Um, so some people might say, "Well, you do all this work, and then you don't even really get to use it." Well, it's remarkable that I learned something about myself that it's the work of creating these statistics and improving upon them that is my true passion. And I've never been a big time wagerer. I inherited my dad's frugalness, and anytime I wager more than 5 hours on a horse, you guarantee that that horse is going to fall to its knees coming out of the starting gate. That's just the way it is. So, and I'm fine with it. I can root just as hard betting $2 or $3 as betting 2 or 300. And so the wagering side of things, I'll leave up to you. But I'm here to help you with the handicapping part of the puzzle. Um, when you go to my website, breedingwonders.com, you'll get to the homepage and show you what the homepage looks like there, and the top menu says there's a category browse by category. You click on there to find the products that I offer, and there's a tab that says About Us that you can learn more about my work in breeding winners, and also my brother-in-law Len Babinski has been my programmer. Thank God through the years. Uh, I just didn't have the time to really learn how to program such a database, and Len does it for a living, programming that is, and he's graciously donated a lot of time through the years in helping keeping breeding winners going. Uh, there's also a tab up there on the menu of new to us. So if you're brand new, you need to register. Click right there, and that'll walk you through the registration process. there's a tab that says sire stats, and that's where you learn and get a full explanation of all the stats that I present on my reports. And finally, there's a tab that says recap. Uh, I'm a fool to be full disclosure on how my selections perform, and I've always done it. I was told by many other people, "Don't you dare do it. Nobody does it. Why would you do such a thing?" Well, I think it drives me to always improve. So you can see exactly how well my selections have done. So clicking on uh, browse by category, you see uh, the first category is daily picks. And when you click on that, if I have any tout sheets for any particular track, and I always do the races in New York. So every day that they race in New York, um, except when I might be on vacation, uh, uh, you click on daily picks and it will show Aqueduct or whatever New York track they're running at. And you just click on that and add it to your cart. And all products get emailed to you after you've properly completed your transaction and successfully logged off the site. Um, when you click on race reports, you'll see a long list of tracks. As I said, the vast majority of the tracks in North America, I provide my statistics for each day that they race. And when you receive those reports in your email, there'll really be two sets uh, in that download. Um, there's the first set, which includes the sire, broodmare sire, and trainer reports, and there's a second set that says inclement weather for sire, broodmare sire, and trainer. Of course, when it rains, or for whatever reason, they might take a turf race off the turf and put it on the main track. Looking at previous turf winners isn't going to do anybody any good. So I had to put in a second set of reports for just that scenario. When races are taken off the turf and put on the main track, you can then look at previous winners on the dirt track. So uh, looking at the example of a sire report there, and uh, flip over in the next set of statistics is for the broodmare sire, and after that the trainer, and then if you kept scrolling down the downloaded product, you would get to um, the inclement weather report. So that's what the race reports look like, and um each day since last November, I've been making a YouTube video for at least one race where I make a selection and go through uh, my sire, broodmare sire, and trainer statistics and how I incorporate those statistics into my handicapping. Uh, Next, when you on the browse by category page, there's a category that says top sire reports. And when you click there, again, you'll see a long list of different categories. And it shows the date for which the latest data that's included in those top reports. And I should mention, I failed to mention so far, that all my statistics are based on the most recent 3 years of data. Horse racing is a very dynamic game. It changes dramatically all the time, and it only makes sense to use the most recent data. So I've chosen to use the last 3 years worth of data. And for the top sire reports, as an example, one of my favorite such reports is the list of top sires who get the biggest percentage of their turf wins over non-firm turf. So it says top non-firm turf sires, and if you want that report, you just click on it and add it to your cart, and it gets emailed to you. And of course, all the data from these top sire reports is included in the race reports. So, but I've found in the past that some people who weren't really true handicappers, um, some people who took a more simple approach to enjoying this sport, would use the top sire lists and just specifically look for opportunities where a horse by a foal by a particular sire today, let's say, is on the list of top non-firm turf sires, and there's yielding turf at Aqueduct, and so you go through all the turf races that are being run over the yielding turf, look at that list, look for a foal by one of the sires on that list, and it can become a play just because you're working with one of the top sires who excels in that particular category. Um, Going back to um, the browse by category, you click on all weather surface reports, and um, I started that back when, of course, the all weather surfaces came into play. Whenever year that was, quite a while back, and these were just number of winners by sire over each individual all weather surface. And as you can see, I need to update it. I need to remove Arlington and Golden Gate from the list, and I need to add Gulfstream Park to the list. And I've never really used this data. I just consider all weather surfaces to be the same as dirt, and I might be wrong about that. And if you have any other ideas on that particular topic, I'd love to hear it. Um, and finally, the last thing on the top menu back on the home page is recaps, and that is where you click on that and you can read a full disclosure of how my selections did on each given day, and the meat totals. So we just finished the Aqueduct meet, and I fell about $43 shy of making a profit with my top selections. Um, uh, Typically, in the long haul, usually my win percentage for my top picks is about 23%, but my average winner pays nearly $8. In this particular meet at Aqueduct, my win percentage was a bit higher at 25.5%, but the average winner was paying $7.55, which is a bit on the low side for me normally. And there aren't many handicappers out there that could boast an average win price of nearly $8 over over a 20-year period and over different uh, tracks. I used to do New York and Southern California, and of course Keeneland when they run at Keeneland. So my time's running out for making this video. I think I gave a proper introduction, and I hope you will visit breedingwinners.com, and I'll be posting a lot of videos dealing with the Kentucky Derby in the next few days. Uh, Thank you so much for watching, and by all means, watch the YouTube videos, and you're always free to ask questions in the comments section or email them to me. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.